Well, now, nights like this take me back a good many years. Funny how a fire, a cup of coffee, and a little quiet is all it takes to make a man remember things he didn't know he'd forgotten. I wasn't much older than you when this story happened. Back then I rode with an old ranch boss named Elias Mercer. Folks around the valley just called him Old Man Mercer. Though the truth is, he wasn't that old. He just carried the kind of weight that ages a man faster than time does. We were driving cattle through the northern passes, the kind where the air smells like pine sap and cold stone, and the night falls quick and heavy. It had been a long day, too long, and the herd was restless. We couldn't find a good place to bed them down, so Mercer sent the others ahead and told me to stay back with him to scout a spot. Now, I was young then, full of stubbornness and a head full of my own opinions. I didn't think we needed to scout anything. I wanted to go straight ahead, catch up with the others, get the fire going early. But Mercer, he always said, "Son, haste is how a man trips over his own shadow." Didn't make a lick of sense to me at the time. We ended up riding along a narrow bend of the Clearwater River. Moonlight on the water made it look like a silver snake weaving through the dark. We followed the riverbank for a good while until we came to a place where the land dipped down gentle-like, a perfect spot for cattle to rest. Mercer stopped his horse, stared at that river for a long minute, and then said something I didn't understand. "River's wrong." That's all he said. I looked at it hard, trying to see what he was seeing. I didn't see anything wrong with it. Water was flowing, stars were reflecting, the banks looked solid enough. I figured he was just being dramatic the way older folks sometimes do. I laughed at him. That was my mistake. He didn't get mad, didn't even sigh. Just turned his horse round slow and said, "When you've lived enough seasons, you'll learn that anything that looks too calm is usually getting ready to shift." I didn't follow him. I wanted that easy spot. Ground was soft, the view was pretty, and that was enough for me. So I dismounted, tied my horse, and walked down by the bank. I crouched to wash my face, and right then the earth gave a low, deep groan, like something waking up from a long sleep. Before I could stand, the riverbank beneath my boots slid, smooth as pulling a rug out from under a table. The soil crumbled, the roots tore loose, and the next thing I knew, the ground dropped out from under me. I hit the water hard. Cold river water steals the air right out of a man. I kicked and clawed, fighting the pull of the current, felt the weight of my clothes dragging me down. But over the roar of the river, even underwater, I heard Mercer yell my name. Next thing I knew, a rope slapped across my shoulder. I grabbed on like my life depended on it, because it did. Mercer pulled me out with more strength than any man his age should have had. When we got to solid ground, I coughed up half the river while he just sat there quietly by my side. Didn't scold me, didn't say I told you so, just handed me his coat and let me warm up by a new fire he built. After a long while, when my breathing finally steadied, he said, "Son, a river doesn't change course all at once. It gives little warnings. Banks sagging, water running quieter than it should, the smell of soft earth. You learn to pay attention to the things that don't seem important. It ain't the big dangers that get a man, it's the little, overlooked ones." I wanted to argue, but I couldn't. I almost died because I didn't listen. He continued, "Most things in life are like that river. A job, a friendship, even your own heart. The shift starts small, and if you're too proud or too impatient, you won't notice till the ground gives out under you. The fire crackled between us. I let his words settle, and for the first time in my life I understood that wisdom isn't loud. It's quiet, easy to ignore, easy to laugh at. Next morning, when we rode back through that stretch, the river had torn a whole section of the bank away. The gentle dip where I'd wanted to bed the herd was gone, washed clean into the current. Mercer looked at me without saying a word. He didn't need to. Now, years later, every time I sit by a fire like this and the night is still enough that I can hear my own thoughts, I remember that moment, and I remember his lesson. Pay attention to what's shifting, especially the things you think will never move. It saved my hide more times than I can count. Saved my heart a few times, too. Life gives you warnings. Subtle ones. Soft ones. You just gotta listen close. The way you listen to a river at night, or the way you listen to a fire talking in the dark woods. Anyway, that's the story of the night the river changed course. And I reckon, one way or another, we all face our own shifting rivers sooner or later.